All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. All right, before we get going on this video, FM, super amazing band, been around since the 1980s. This is their 13th album, hence the title 13. They went all superstitious on the album cover. I really like that, to honor the number 13. And this band is as good as they were back in the 80s. They used to tour with bands like Foreigner and Survivor and Journey. And they never made it to the headlining status, but they should have. It's just a fluke. Steve Overland is your singer. He also sings on that Lovable Long Rider album that I have from this year. And that is in contention to be my favorite. You may like this better. This is in a lane that used to be really well traveled in the music industry. It's no longer a lane anybody is in. It's melodic rock, but it's a little bit lighter. It's not trying to be hair metal. It's a little more sophisticated, just really well put together music. And really, it's all about the songs. And these songs are terrific. So check out 13 by FM, courtesy of Frontiers Music. No, I don't work for the label or the band. I just really like this. So check it out, FM, not to be confused with Fleetwood Mac. So I wanted to talk about Fleetwood Mac. So there's the segue. FM kind of sounds like Fleetwood Mac. Well, musically, yeah, not really. But anyway, the question is, can Fleetwood Mac go on without Christine McVie? And my bullet points here, I had to write them out because I had a lot of thoughts about this, is that they probably should not go on. They probably shouldn't continue. And there were no plans for 2023 for a tour. Stevie's doing stuff. Lindsey's doing stuff. I'm not sure what Mick's up to. John's on the boat. I don't think anybody really had plans on getting the band back together again. Now, I said to one of my patrons, I'm thinking the phone rang and Mick Fleetwood picked it up, and it was probably Irving Azoff. It's just a hypothetical conversation. And he probably said, it's really sad about Christine. How about we do a reunion next year to celebrate the music of Christine McVie and finally provide fans a little bit of closure? And also, the big deal would be to get Lindsey and Stevie. This would be enough to get those two in a room again. Stevie would say, okay, let's do it for Christine. And she could use Christine. She could use the memory of Christine McVie to say, hey, this is more important than my relationship with Lindsey. I know I said never again, but, this band has all through the years been about, changing their mind and saying, yeah, I'll never work with this person again, but here we are. Is that a good idea? Is that kind of sacrilegious? I mean, who's going to sing these amazing Christine McVie songs? Is it going to be Stevie? Is it going to be both Stevie and Lindsey, maybe? I think that might be okay. Look, unfortunately, Christine McVie didn't have any children. If she had a daughter, you could do the Deacon Fry, Glenn Fry kind of thing, even though, Deacon's kind of left, but I hear he still shows up and sings a few songs. I'm thinking he probably gets bored on stage after he sings what he's supposed to sing. I mean, he does play acoustic guitar, but I'm thinking Vince Gill and Stuart Smith, their Smalley, whatever his name is, they've got it covered, so he probably doesn't have to do anything really. You got Joe Walsh too. I mean, I think you have enough guitar power there. In any event, getting back to who would do what, it's pretty clear that it would be a really tough thing to do. But again, the band in 2005 had this little album called Say You Will, and it's a pretty good record. It's a lot of tension between Stevie and Lindsey, and it's heavy-duty Lindsey Buckingham production value. And Christine, though, at the time wasn't in the band, but she gave her blessing. She said, you guys go ahead. Now, unfortunately, Christine can't give her blessing to anything that might happen in the future, but it's possible. And if you're thinking this is crazy, I thought, the Eagles without Glenn Frey, that was kind of crazy. And you go on and you look at all these bands with one original member. I mean, Foreigner, right? With one guy hanging on. And finally they announced that they're going to quit, which is probably the right thing to do. But there are a ton of brands, not bands, but bands with big marquee names that you could say, here's Quiet Riot. Yeah, who's in the band from the original days? Like one guy, zero guys. People are all about going to see these brands these days. And believe me, Lindsey and Stevie and Mick and John, if he gets off the boat and wants to actually be out there with them, that is enough firepower to get a big crowd. In fact, people would be very intrigued and interested to see Lindsey and Stevie on stage again. Now, would that kind of take away from honoring Christine McVie? I mean, these are all questions that you can ask. And does it really even matter? I mean, I ask a lot of questions, and some of the questions I ask, nobody really cares. Dave, we don't care. We'd like to see these people back. If they play Christine McVie songs, that's honoring Christine McVie. I would say just don't bring Neil Finn or Mike Campbell back. That's this has got to be a Lindsey and Stevie reunion to kind of make up for the fact that, Christine McVie isn't there. But I am getting a lot of feedback from patrons on my channel who say, you know what? I liked Christine more than Stevie. And I'm trying to come to grips with my Stevie Nicks bias. I'm trying to come to grips with it and say, you know what? Yeah, I'm not, in love with Stevie Nicks. That's for sure. And I do think she's important. And you can't have Fleetwood Mac without Stevie Nicks, just like you probably shouldn't have Fleetwood Mac without Christine McVie. In fact, the people who are doing the marketing and promoting have said over the years that Stevie is more important than anyone else. They've come to that conclusion. And that's why the last tour happened. And Stevie pretty much called the shots. And you can go back and look at that tour. I mean, there were some redeeming moments, but then it got kind of weird. We're going to do a Crowded House song. We're going to do a Tom Petty song. And Lindsey's like, yeah, we're kind of becoming a cover band here. And, he's just watching this thinking to himself, we're Fleetwood Mac. We have enough material of our own. Just because you bring these other guys in doesn't mean you should change the set list so drastically. I mean, if they're not Fleetwood Mac focused, then they probably shouldn't be in Fleetwood Mac. But again, we're in an era where casual fans show up and go, yeah, I know that I Won't Back Down song. I love that song. Well, it's not Fleetwood Mac. It's Tom Petty. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm still glad they're playing the song. So we're definitely in different territory. And I think if they're going to go out, and do this, which I doubt that they're going to, if I'm betting on this, I say it's pretty low odds. But my point is anything is possible after what happened with the Eagles. And this may be a point in time where a promoter comes along, a manager, Irving Azoff, says, hey, guys, what about this? I know you had plans next year. How about we do a Fleetwood Mac tour, a small tour, get everybody back on stage. We pay tribute to Christine McVie, and then you guys call it a career, and everybody can go off and do what they want to do. I think it would be fitting. And in that context, it doesn't sound disrespectful or sacrilegious or kind of like, okay, she's not here, so let's do a tour. No, that's not it at all. It would have been way better if that last tour happened with everybody, but it didn't. So there are still people looking for closure. And by the way, based on, comments from patrons on my channel, there are still people who are mad about that. Almost like, wow, we missed this great opportunity. Christine's gone. And so that whole rumors thing, it's over. And it is, unfortunately. There's no way around that. But the whole say you will era could still happen. And again, Christine gave her blessing before, and I'm thinking, say she couldn't tour for reasons that say she just physically wasn't up to it. My guess is she was the kind of person who would say, yeah, go out there. I don't want to do it, or I can't do it. She was already hinting that she was getting too old to do this. She said it in an interview. And then she backtracked a little bit. And I think she was probably told by management to say something different just in case something happened in the future. But quite honestly, it's really difficult when stuff like this happens to a band of this stature, and people miss that person so much that they're like, yeah, I'm done with this. It's not the same. It'll never be the same. But people went to see Fleetwood Mac without Lindsey Buckingham. And I get it. Lindsey isn't a lead singer on a lot of songs compared to Christine and Stevie. I mean, he helped construct songs for both of those ladies and made them better in the process. I mean, they both brought songs to the table, and Lindsey did a lot to make those songs even better. That's the nature of a great band. And everybody working together, nobody getting out of line when it comes to ego. And I think at this stage in their career, everybody should put their ego in check and just say, all right, let's go and put on a great show and pay tribute to one of the great musicians of the last, 50 years. I mean, give her a lot of credit because she deserves a lot of credit. So in any event, folks, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on this one. I mean, my heart says it's done, but my head says, based on what's happened before and using the Eagles as a template. I mean, look at Steely Dan. There's another one. It's the Donald Fagen show. Holding on by a thread. Donald Fagen doesn't sound all that good singing these days. It's kind of iffy, but he's out there, or he was out there this year. Now, without him, it's done. And people will say, well, same thing with Don Henley in the Eagles, but you've got 4 big players who are still around here, and it's a possibility. And would fans receive it? Yeah, you know why they would receive it? Because the dynamic of Stevie and Lindsey being on stage again would be headline news across the world, and everybody would want to grab a ticket for this just to see if they can not, do something crazy on stage. I mean, I don't know how many years ago, but there's this footage of Stevie and Lindsey kind of singing at each other, and it's just amazing. They were actually working out their anger on stage, and as a music fan, to see that and the way it kind of plays itself out, that's something, folks, that's not bottled or canned. And it's the reason Rumors was such a huge album, and it would be pretty interesting to see on stage. But maybe because everybody's old now, that they would just be all mellow and it wouldn't be a big deal. I don't know. But you know what? It would be fun to see, and I would be definitely somebody who might want to go see that. I mean, that's how bad that whole thing is. I mean, it's like an addiction. Like, you're addicted to seeing the tension between these two artists, and I think they would do a better performance because of it. So that's my logic there. I don't know. Should Christine be honored? Yes, absolutely. She should be honored. Should Fleetwood Mac continue? That's a little up in the air, but she definitely should get her due. I mean, if Taylor Hawkins had 2 benefit concerts, Christine McVie should have one in England and one here in the United States. It's a British-American band, and fans from both countries, and all over the world for that matter, loved Christine McVie. So that's my take on this. It's a weird take as always. This is not a weird take. This is FM. This is their album 13. And it's not spooky. It's really good. So check it out. Courtesy of Frontiers. You won't go wrong with FM ever throughout their entire career. Just amazing music and super talented band. All right. I am done with this one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for some of the new subscribers and also a few new patrons who've come on board. Thank you very much for that. And I will see you all soon.